In the immortal words of our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ, Happy Easter, bitches, I'm back. Some people like to celebrate with mini eggs. Your Uncle Spurt likes to celebrate with mini whiskies. And big whiskies too, to be fair, I don't discriminate. And to further commemorate the resurrection of one of the best beardy magicians after Gandalf, let's take a look at how Samsung's latest foldable phones are shaping up, followed by a slap-up Easter supper of viewer comments. Jingle me. TechSpert Weekly. Now, despite being a pioneer in the world of bendy blowers, Samsung's recent full-sized foldable phones were starting to look a wee bit cack, certainly compared with rivals from OPPO, Honor, etc. We're talking chunky slabs that weren't good for much besides making you look ridiculously well endowed when you shove them in your pants. That is until last year's big revamp, because the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is a proper slick bit of tech, boasting an overhauled super skinny design and some much needed upgrades. And now we just have to kind of pray that Samsung doesn't say, right, f it, that'll do, and not really bother to make any proper improvements for the next several generations. Either way, we shouldn't have to wait too long to find out, because Samsung is expected to launch the Galaxy Z Fold 8 this summer. Of course, the internet is already awash with leaks and rumours, the most interesting suggesting that Samsung will not launch just one Galaxy Z Fold device this year, but two of the buggers. Oh great, even more phones to review. So we'll not only get a regular Z Fold 8, hopefully with the same dimensions as the Z Fold 7, but Samsung will also apparently spaff out what has been nicknamed the Z Fold 8 Wide. Now this sports a more squat design compared with the usual long and thin sausage style Z Folds, so a bit more similar to the original Pixel Fold from Google. And this means the 7.6-inch internal screen will boast a tablet style aspect ratio rather than the usual square design. And personally, I gotta say, I reckon this kind of design makes more sense for a full-sized foldable. Because while the square screen is great for reading, for instance, a tablet-y display would be better suited to movies, gaming. It should still work pretty well for multitasking, especially if you can hide away and bring apps back into view with just a quick poke, like you can on recent One UI phones. Now, the regular Galaxy Z Fold 8 is said to measure around 9mm when all folded up, so about the same as the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Meanwhile, the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Wide is apparently a bit chunkier at 10mm, so thankfully still nowhere near as girthy as the old Z Fold 6 and Sammy foldables of yesteryear. And it has got me wondering if the Samsung Z Fold 8 Wide is actually going to be a fan edition model similar to the Z Flip 7 FE which released last year. This isn't really one for fans, it's just more for people who wanted the good one but didn't quite have enough cash, so had to sort of make do. Now, at recent tech expos, Samsung has shown off some impressively crease-free bendy screen tech, so here's hoping they managed to shove that into the Z Fold 8 and the Z Fold 8 Wide. Now this will certainly help to keep it in line with the excellent OPPO Find N6, which featured an almost completely flat panel when unfolded. The big question is, can Samsung also reduce the bump that you feel when you run your fingers over that crease, just like OPPO managed? Well, that's more of a nice to have though, because as lovely as the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is, it does suffer from one critical flaw. And that's the fact that the battery life is generally about as impressive as a Chihuahua's stiffy. Chihuahua. That's how you say that, isn't it? And recent leaks do support the idea that Samsung has finally upgraded the battery tech for the Z Fold 8, apparently boosting the capacity from 4,400 mAh up to 5,000 mAh, the same as what was stuffed inside of the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Certainly an improvement, but also certainly still a significant drop compared with the OPPO Find N6 and the Honor Magic V6 with their 6,000 mAh plus batteries. As for the camera tech, well, you can expect Samsung to stick with that same 200MP main shooter and basic 10MP telephoto snapper with 3x optical zoom, while apparently they've upgraded the ultra wide to a swankier 50MP sensor. However, some renders do show the Z Fold 8 Wide packing just a pair of lenses, so it could possibly lose that zoom jobby. Now, your Uncle Spurt's personal wish list for the Galaxy Z Fold 8, the one at the very top of that list, obviously battery life. Come on Samsung, stop dicking around, slip some silicon carbon tech into that massive bendy bugger. Give us the battery life we really need, especially if we're constantly unfolding this thing using that big internal display. And also, completely necessary for this generation, please boost the charging speeds up from 25 watts to absolute minimum 45 watts, preferably 60 watts like what you did with the S26 Ultra. And of course, another factor that will massively impact the battery life is the actual chipset which runs the show as well. So Samsung, I'm down on my knees, begging you please, get that Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 stuffed in there. Don't mess around with any Exynos bollocks, because that absolutely ruined the battery life on the S26 and S26 Plus here in Blighty. Whereas a bit of Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy should mean beefcake performance, especially if accompanied by a decent sized vapor chamber, and hopefully battery life that isn't total trouser. And also, if they can make the screen protector on that massive internal screen less of a shiny muck magnet, well, that would be hunky bloody dory. Because even if I've just washed my hands, every time I swipe my fingers across that screen, I'll leave a trail like an incontinent slug. But of course, the big question is, when is the Galaxy Z Fold 8 actually hitting stores, and what's the damage? Well, you can expect Samsung to whip open its launch Mac and waggle around this enticing pair sometime in summer, probably around sort of July time if it sticks to the schedule of the past couple of years. Although, hey, they clearly had a very bloody good Christmas and New Year, because they were over a month late with the Galaxy S26 series, so who really knows? Now, as for how much it'll actually cost, well, that'll probably be a similar reaction to stubbing your toe. I'm expecting around the sort of £2,000 mark for the regular Galaxy Z Fold 8, although hey, that wide boy, if it is a fan edition, maybe that'll come in closer to the sort of £1,500 price point. But you know, your Uncle Spurt's tech predictions generally about as successful as all of the various miracle hair growth treatments that I've tried. Not even the elixir made from bull semen really helped. 2 bloody months I tried furiously rubbing that into my scalp. The only good it ever did was guaranteeing no one sat next to me on the bus. And also these days I find I can only really get turned on by a bull bukkake. But anyway, let us know what you reckon of these impending Z Fold 8 smartphones down below. And now it's time for the part of the show Jesus would probably empathise with quite heavily, as he was rather used to quite vocal feedback. It's viewer comments. Viewer comments.
I can smell you.
So we'll start this week with Tony Donahue. You eat Tony, who says, "Hey Spurt, your videos are so much better after 4 pints of Pernod. Cheers." I mean, what isn't better after 4 pints of Pernod? I mean, driving, I guess. You definitely don't do that. Sub611 says, "That's enough shenanigans for one video." Well, personally, I'd say it was like the optimum level of shenanigans. Surely that you can't have too many shenanigans. Get those shenanigans right in my face. And for anyone out there who's playing the Techspert drinking game, you're welcome. Should be pretty much unconscious by now. Aerong9378 says, "Another smashing episode of Techspert Weekly. Very kind, sir. It's the only way I come to realise it's Friday." That must be really bloody confusing then, when I just can't be asked to do an episode for a couple of weeks. You just like not have a weekend for like the best part of a month. Kasinga Pamai says, "Man, why do you always do a video with a bad hangover?" I don't think I was even hungover in last week's episode, was I? You probably just assumed I was hungover because my default state is grumpy c***. Although yes, admittedly, due to my proclivity to have a few beers every now and then, the number of hungover videos on my channel is probably slightly higher than average for tech stuff. Yeah, MKBHD probably doesn't shoot a video when he's hanging out of his hoop. Now, Team Member Stafford says, "Yes, yes, yes, I am a kitty. Remember kiddies, don't do drugs." Mythic Sun says, "Star Trek never predicted that in the 21st century we'd be taking a shit while watching some bald dude, not even Picard, talk about taking a shit." I mean, it's not quite hyperspeed travel or even flying cars, but I think it's a future we can all be vaguely proud of. And also, I honestly expected that by now, 2026, we'd be in proper full-on Mad Max territory. I'd be wearing a gimp mask and strapped to some lunatic's bonnet. And Mythic Suns also says, "Anyone who thinks that anime is a bunch of kiddie cartoons is going to get a good punch of reality if they watch Attack on Titan or Full Metal Alchemist." Absolutely correct, especially Attack on Titan, or Jesus f***ing Christ as it really should be called, because that's what I find myself muttering for hours after watching any episode. I smashed through a season or two of it on my lunch break over the course of about sort of 2-3 weeks back in the day, but I just had to stop. I had to go complete cold turkey because honestly my work rates in the afternoon would just absolutely plummet. I would literally spend hours just staring at the walls with drool running down my chin. Voidberg Illusion says, your wallpaper jingle should be on a top 10 music hits playlist somewhere. It's currently on repeat in my brain. Yeah, if I actually had any musical abilities whatsoever, I would attempt to remix it into a proper techno dub sensation. You know, maybe I should at the very least try and sell it to wall.alphacoders.com, make some bloody money from it finally. Nemas2866 says, please do a review of the MacBook Neo. See, I currently spend every single day of my life struggling with a MacBook Pro M3 Max, which has absolutely fallen on its arse ever since the latest wanktastical macOS update. Honestly, I can't even get it to edit a shitty little short without it completely dropping a bollock and crashing back to the desktop. And this is the problem with the MacBook Neo, you see. The review's generally quite positive after a few days of use, but fast forward a few months to the next time that Apple massively flubs a macOS update, and suddenly you can't do a bloody thing on it without lots of buffering, but you know, there'll be a MacBook Neo 2, so that'll come along to save the day. And hey, I really do not like Windows. Microsoft frankly can go fist itself. But I've got Windows laptops from 5-6 years ago that still function perfectly well. Windows gaming laptops that still do the job. Whereas the longest I've managed to use a bloody macOS laptop is I think 2 years before either the keyboards failed, the displays failed, or the performance has just been utter shit. So frankly, biggest friggin' rip-offs in the world. And that is my rant about macOS and MacBooks, and you brought it on yourself. And deep breath. And we're moving on. And oh yeah, last week we of course discussed the impending almighty mega twat that is the Vivo X300 Ultra. So we got a few comments about that. So Daddy GF says, this camera comes with a rather nice phone. But yeah, they're not f***ing about with that, that's for sure. It's certainly going to be one for the keen photographer. Retired MCO says, this is my next phone, currently on a Pixel 8 Pro. Nice. Really liked the Pixel 8 Pro. It was a bit of a banger of a smartphone. Hopefully the Vivo should be more beefy, and also here's hoping the cameras do the job. Rage Beta says, OPPO Find X9 Ultra also coming this year. Absolutely 100% correct. I believe that Pete actually already confirmed it was coming on April the 21st, so not even 3 weeks to wait now. 2 Ultras in 1 month, that could get pretty tasty. Good bit of Ultra megaphone fisticuffs. Your Uncle Spare may be planning a little something in that sort of general department for you lovely fine folk. And a couple loves me says, the jiggly head and body moves are very spectacular. Yeah, that's that thing I said earlier about drugs. I kind of feel like I'm on the f***ers just reading these comments. Sandro and is my wife says, any plans on reviewing another Huawei phone in the near future? The Nova 14 series and the 15 series that's only just launched in China are some real smashing handsets in my opinion, especially the Nova 14 Ultra. I'm absolutely down for some more hot Huawei blower action, that's for sure. I haven't been invited to review any of those by Huawei, but hopefully at some point soon. And Bonus Baby with a bit of nostalgia here says, man, Donkey Kong was my shiznit back in the cut, especially Donkey Kong Jr. There was this one store downtown where I lived that had this knockoff Donkey Kong game. It was 100% the same except everything was green instead of red. Just like it was Luigi instead of Mario, who was actually called the Jumpman before getting the name Mario. We've kind of gone down a proper little tunnel of Nintendo nostalgia there. And bollocks, massively running out of time, so better make this the last comment quickly. So Phil D says, I'm off to York tomorrow for a week, a great destination for the Spurt Hole. The pubs up there are fantastic, all full of eye-watering strength IPAs, as well as Vikings, ghosts, etc. Yeah, I've been to York many a time, absolutely adore that city. Definitely one of my favourite places in the UK, and I will 100% get up there again soon to do a bit of Spurt Hole vloggage. Probably shoot most of that from the Brew York Brewery, of course, with its liver explodingly strong beers. A little sneak peek of what's next up on the Spurt Hole. I am planning a wee trip up to Edinburgh for just a night and hoping to frequent a few bars up there. Hopefully the sort of haunted and spooky variety, and also check out some of the more sort of grisly, ghostly tourist attractions. So if anyone lives up in Edinburgh, has been to Edinburgh quite a bit, has any recommendations, definitely again let us know down below. Yeah, I'd love to check out a couple of haunted bars, drink a few good beers, and possibly fill my pants, either from fear or just general incontinence. Anyway, massive thank you to everyone who commented last week. Please do tappity tap your comments down below. We'll get through as many of those as possible next week. And speaking of next week, what the f is next week? So, yet more Eastery shenanigans on Monday. Of course, lovely 4-day weekend. Absolutely love it. So yeah, 4 days just about long enough to recover from the hangover I plan to have this time tomorrow. Next week, we've got some super-powered Snapdragon shenanigans coming your way, heavily NDA'd at the moment, so I can't say any more than that, as well as hopefully, finally, a 1-month review of this absolute mega bastard, the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. It's had a couple of updates since I first got it. I've been testing out the camera tech quite a lot, etc. So full thoughts on that, as I say, next week. So to make sure you don't miss out on any of that shenanigans, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell, and have yourselves a bloody wonderful Easter weekend. Cheers everybody, love you!